So why am I making this video response? Is it because I am infatuated with Nicole Arbor? No. In fact, there is indeed a case that the woman is a hypocrite. There's also a case that she isn't. I'll chat about that later in the video. But I have no desire to even get to know the woman Nicole Arbor well. Got a lady I like chatting with as it is. So I'm not white knighting, although I probably will be accused of doing so. No, I'm making this video for two reasons. One, I think this is actually a fantastic video that will reveal the nature of young ladies in our modern contemporary society. And two, I want to show people what happens when you think you understand argumentation, but you don't. By all means, MrRepzion, take us away.
So, let's get this started.
Dear Instagram models, it's time we have a chat, sexy bitches.
I'm finally giving in to your wants and needs. I know you guys have been wanting to see my cleavage for a while now, and this is... here you go.
No! Man.
This is it.
This has been weighing on me for a while. I can't go on the internet without seeing your titties, your ass, or basically up your fallopian tubes because you are an Instagram model.
Actually, I go to Instagram all the time, and I don't really see a lot of what you're describing, simply because I don't individually click on somebody's Instagram profile and have to look through all of their photos to see if they're posting photos of their ass, titties, or whatever they want to post.
Now, that's all well and true, MrRepzion. However, Instagram has this really funny thing on your mobile device, and that if you go to the Explore option on Instagram and just, look around, you can find a lot of what she is indeed describing. It is indeed true that it is based on the individuals you follow and the things that you're on, and I will make the assumption that Miss Nicole Arbor is a pretty lady who follows other pretty ladies, because that's what pretty ladies do for whatever fucking reason. And that's why she sees all the fallopian tubes that she sees. Well, not fallopian tubes, I think all the butts. Because there are lots of women posting nice pictures of their butts on Instagram because they want followers and attention. Looking at one right now. Did an episode of the Attention Whore Chronicles on this one.
You literally have to be on Instagram, and you have to click someone's profile and go to their profile and read their bio. So unless that's what you're doing, I have no idea why exactly you're complaining about people posting photos of themselves as Instagram models when you're the one who has to be actively seeking out those people in order to find them.
Again, you're half right. I mean, you are correct. You do for some people, but again, if you go on the exploration option on Instagram, whoa. You can find some really fun. I found this funny picture of someone in a honey bun. Oh, damn, that was funny. No, but again, it is possible. And even if you're on Facebook, you can also see lots of young ladies doing that shit, or lots of people retweeting stuff on Twitter. It's right difficult to escape the amount of butts that is on Instagram, or people posting pictures of their butts on Instagram. Not that I'm complaining. By all means, ladies, continue to do so. Just don't bitch and complain when I start talking about them.
I can't go on the internet with... I'm not saying not to be gorgeous and confident and sexy. Do that. Do you. Do your thing. But do something else too. The difference between you and the porn girls is they're getting paid. How do I say this without being a jerk? Y'all are wrecking the modeling industry. Let's just talk about simple economics. Porn girls are getting paid for their titties and ass. You're just putting it out there for free. You girls are the stupid version of porn stars. You're sucking the photographer off camera so that he takes more promotional photos of you for your Instagram so that you get booked for $25 an hour doing a beer girl promo so that you could buy more fake followers on Instagram.
Basically, this whole video, Dear Instagram Models, is her saying that you're not a real Instagram model unless you're being paid for it.
Well, if the definition of an Instagram model, or a model for that matter, is one who gets paid for taking pictures, or one who gets paid for taking pictures with the intent to promote an object or promote merchandise, then she would actually be correct. Because if you're just taking pictures of your butt and you're not promoting anything, then you're not an Instagram model. You're just a girl posting pictures of your butt.
Video as a whole is riddled with fallacy after fallacy after fallacy after fallacy after generalization after generalization. The biggest fallacy of all is fallacy 101, is the no true Scotsman fallacy. This entire video is her saying that you're not a real model because of this, because you aren't getting paid for what you're doing doing voluntary work, or you're posting photos of yourself for free on Instagram, therefore you are not a real model.
And see, MrRepzion, this is how I know you are incredibly ignorant when it comes to philosophical discussions. If that is Nicole's train of thought, she's absolutely correct. If, by definition, you are not an Instagram model, that's not a no true Scotsman fallacy. That is a failure to correctly define your terms. A no true Scotsman fallacy, a fallacy at its core, is really when it's either a format error, as in you have incorrectly formatted your argument, or the fallacy at its core is saying you are coming to a conclusion based on things that have nothing to do with your argument. So, let's take what Nicole is saying. If, by definition, an Instagram model is a person who gets paid to use their bodies to promote merchandise, and you don't, then you are, by definition, not an Instagram model. That is perfectly logical and reasonable. It's kind of like this. If the definition of a firefighter is one who puts out fires, and you don't, then you are not, by definition, a firefighter. A no true Scotsman fallacy is not a no true Scotsman fallacy if you correctly define someone not being a part of a group because they fail to meet that criteria. If you don't meet the criteria, you are not, by definition, what you are describing.
You're not a real Christian. You're not a real this. That's not a real Christian. That's not a real this.
I mean, even Jesus Christ himself said, "Not everyone that saith unto me, Lord, Lord, shall enter into the kingdom of heaven, but he that doeth my will which is in heaven. And many will say to me on that day, Lord, Lord, have we not prophesied in thy name? Have we not cast out devils? Have we not done many wonderful works? And I will confess unto them, I never knew you. Depart from me, ye that work iniquity." I mean, again, even Jesus Christ himself said not everyone who calls himself a Christian is a Christian. I mean, if you fail to meet the criteria of what a Christian is, then you are not, by definition, a Christian. If you worship Allah, you are not, by definition, a Christian. You're a Muslim. If you're a Muslim, if you call yourself a Muslim and you worship the god Shiva, then you are not a Muslim by definition. That's not a no true Scotsman fallacy. You're using words incorrectly. Logically speaking, that's true. Continue.
You know, you can't say statements like this because they don't hold up to scrutiny or actual criticism.
Again, MrRepzion, you don't know what you're talking about because they do. If the criteria for an Instagram model is one who gets paid for doing your promotion of a merchandise, and you don't, you're not an Instagram model. If that is what Nicole describes as an Instagram model, if that's her definition, and you agree to that definition, then that's the criteria. If you fail to meet that criteria, you are not an Instagram model. It's not a no true Scotsman fallacy. That's called correctly labeling your terms and conditions in a philosophical discussion. In all honesty, that's the first thing that you should do when you have a discussion about anything, so we are all on the same page, which you have failed to do. But then again, this is a response to a response, so I can't blame you for that one. Keep going.
They don't hold together logically. And if they don't hold together logically, then what you're saying doesn't make any sense.
You're just addicted to fake attention. Y'all are crack addicts. You titty crack, ass crack, crack addicts.
Whatever, I have 1 million followers and I'm getting paid.
Really? But I see you waitressing and being a promo girl for the same rate as all the other promo girls around you. Haha, no you're not.
Wow. That is that's really, really judgmental.
Now, before I tackle that, MrRepzion, this is how I am thoroughly convinced you have no fucking idea what you're talking about, especially when it comes to logical argumentation. What Nicole just did there is a perfect example of a no true Scotsman fallacy. Let me play that shit back for you guys.
Whatever, I have 1 million followers and I'm getting paid.
Really? But I see you waitressing and being a promo girl for the same rate as all the other promo girls around you. Haha, no you're not.
Being a waitress and being a promotion girl has nothing to do with being an Instagram model. If Nicole is saying you are not an Instagram model because I see that you are a waitress and a promotional girl, that is a no true Scotsman fallacy. She is dismissing people from a group based on arbitrary conditions that have nothing to do with being in said group. And you completely fucking missed it when she actually made a no true Scotsman fallacy. You dumbass.
Who are you in a position to judge whether someone is a actual model, but if they work as a waitress, that somehow dismisses what they do on the side for their free time, or their passion, or their hobby? What gives you the right to dictate what other people do with their own personal lives? Much less what gives you the right to dictate how you think people should act and be and post on their own personalized Instagram that is their own thing, their own website.
Oh yeah, now you gotta talk about that whole right to thing. Listen, Daniel, okay, people have the First Amendment, which means they have the ability to make statements, and they have the ability to tell people what they think would be a good idea or things that they should do, especially if they want to get a specific result. You can do that. It's up to you, you weenie, to either internalize that and say, hey, this is a good idea, or say, hey, this is a bad idea. What gives Nicole the right to say what you should and shouldn't do? One, experience, and two, the fucking First Amendment.
I don't know about the people watching me, but when I was younger, 16, 17, I used to post a lot of photos of myself with my shirt off and, you know, having my Facebook icon with me and my six-pack abs, something that I no longer have.
What are you looking for? I'm looking for a fuck to give.
I used to post photos of myself, and when I would do that, it would make me feel good about myself. That made me feel good about myself.
Yeah, and I'm not going to lie, MrRepzion, that is really sad, to put it bluntly. And if anything, very important, because you actually cut out a huge portion, well, not a huge portion, but you cut out a good chunk of Nicole's video, which I find to be very intellectually dishonest. Now, it is indeed true that you did link to her video. That's a good thing. However, you did miss out a huge portion of what she was saying. In fact, part of what she was saying is about what you are describing right now. So I want you to keep talking, and then I'm going to show that clip. Go ahead, and it'll all make sense in just a second.
If a girl or a guy wants to post a sexy photo of themselves on their own personal website, they have the right to do that without any judgments from someone like yourself.
First of all, no they don't. If it's on a public forum, they don't have the right to not be judged. Second thing, there is nothing wrong with a judgment. In fact, if Nicole was saying that you are all really beautiful and have really nice fat asses, nobody would have a goddamn problem with that. Your real issue is negative judgments, telling somebody that they shouldn't do something to get some result, or something is going to be negative, or something bad's going to happen to them. That is all perfectly goddamn fine. A judgment is just an evaluation of something or someone's behaviors, and it is perfectly fine to judge people's stuff. Because the whole reason they put those photos on Instagram is so people can judge them. You dumbass. Keep talking though. We haven't gotten to that part yet.
Someone who specifically shames them by saying that unless you're getting paid to post a sexy photo of yourself, you're not what you want to be when you grow up.
By definition, they're not. Now I think this might be a good time to chat about what Nicole was saying.
Not saying not to be gorgeous and confident and sexy. Do that. Do you thing. But do something else too. I'm hashtag sorry not sorry shout out 2014. You were a good year. You were a good year. Yeah, me and you got along. But I think you're better than this. I think we're all better than this. You're giving yourself an expiry date. Last week?
Selfie.
Oh god. Ew, that was grosser than I thought it would be. What was I smelling there? Ah, change frame.
But Nicole, at least it's not porn.
Part of what Nicole was saying in her video was that if you only rely on the fact that you're a pretty girl, Or if you only rely on the fact that you look good, you're putting an expiration date on yourself. In other words, you don't have any other skills that translate outside of you being a beautiful person. And lots of MGTOWs talk about the wall that ladies inevitably hit most of the time. One attention whore that I'm going to do an episode on has yet to hit that wall, and that's actually a very important thing. Like I said, preview into the future. But Nicole was saying in part of her video that if you only rely on the way you look, people will only value you for the way you look. And eventually, because you don't have any other skills or anything else that you can do in your life, you ultimately lose value because the only thing you valued was something fleeting like your physical appearance. Which in all honesty is actually pretty good advice to young ladies. But God forbid we try to help women be better and not just coddle them, right?
And that's what this video is as a whole, is you just simply shaming other people because they don't fall in line with your line of thinking of what a model should be, which is someone who obviously gets paid for everything that they do.
Well, since that's the definition...
If I have a passion for writing, and I want to write short stories and publish them online for people to read and enjoy for entertainment, I'm perfectly in my right to do that. How am I any less of a writer because I have a passion to write and do it for free?
Well, in this case, it would actually depend on what your definition of a writer is. Let's go with option A and option B. Definition A. A writer is an individual who writes short stories or writes books. Synonymous, an author. Definition B, a writer is someone who gets paid to write articles or journalistic pieces for a website or newspaper. If you fit option A of being a writer, then you're right. By definition, you're perfectly fine. You're not any less of a writer. However, if you're trying to use definition B of being a writer, since you don't get paid and since you're not writing stories for a news article, then you are not by definition a writer. This is why it's very important to define your criteria in a discussion so everybody is on the same page. When people are working with different definitions, nobody meets up and we're all over the goddamn place. That's a lesson for the individuals watching today's video. Keep going, MrRepzion.
This type of mentality that you will only do things for money is extremely egotistical and really downshifts, I believe, women from actually wanting to reach their potential because they have no desire to do anything unless they're getting paid for it. You can pursue your passions, your dreams, and sometimes you have to start at the very bottom, which sometimes involves doing things for free to get your name out there.
And before you say it, yes, I've posted sexual photos on my Instagram before, and if Periscope's taught me anything other than open boobs, 20 million hearts and counting, motherfucker.
Why exactly do you need to brag about how many likes, followers, or hearts that you have on a social network?
Because she has low self-esteem.
But Nicole, it's promotion.
For what? In years past, if you wanted a model in a bikini modeling your outfit, you had to pay them. Why pay them when Instagram models will do it for free?
So that they can say they're models. Yeah, but Nicole, that's like what Kim Kardashian does, and she's really famous.
No. Her Instagram is actually promotional photos. She's promoting her clothing line, her TV show, her other TV show, that other TV show. She is making that money.
So what you're doing here is valuing commercialized sexual expression over someone voluntarily wanting to do something for free. In other words, unless you have a promotional objective, pushing your clothing line, pushing your whatever perfume brand that you're trying to promote, you're not justified to post photos of yourself, sexy photos of yourself in any way on Instagram because it doesn't have a promotional objective.
MrRepzion, you are trying really, really fucking hard to turn this into a moral issue when this woman is speaking straight economics. She is talking about economics. In other words, I'm going to assume she's an Instagram model because that's the only reason why she'd probably be upset with a bunch of bitches doing things for free. Nicole is saying is that these Instagram models or these ladies with nice asses who are just posting pictures of themselves are being contacted by these different promotion websites or companies, and they're giving them these different products that they'll promote for free, which means they're taking away jobs from actual models who want to get paid for showing their nice asses on Instagram. I think that's what Nicole is chatting about. I mean, everything in her video kind of points to that because she's specifically talking about economics and promotional fees. It's you who are trying to make this a moral issue when this woman is just talking about the economy of being a fucking model.
This is the most dumb line of thinking I think I've ever heard of.
Huh, really? You think the modeling industry is dumb? I can understand that.
So I'm only gonna post something that's sexy if I'm getting paid for it or it's a promotional objective.
You know, in all honesty, you call that really stupid? I call that female privilege.
This entire video is you continually saying, I love sexy ladies, but then you go on to say that they can't be sexy ladies unless they're getting paid or having a promotional objective with their sexy photos. So you're shaming anyone who does anything for free. That's what this video ultimately boils down to.
I'm sure there's a name for this logical fallacy. However, until someone corrects me, I'm going to call this an argument from imagination. Because Nicole never said you couldn't do anything. In fact, she said you could do it. Not that she's the creator of the world and can make laws. It's just, she's very clearly acknowledging you physically have the ability to do so. What she's saying is that you can do that while you have other skills. That it shouldn't be the only thing that you do. And she's also saying that you should either A, try to get paid for doing it, or B, again, do something else with your life instead of just being a pretty lady with a nice ass and some big boobs.
I have a problem with that. But honestly, I see this video doing a far more damage to people who want to be able to express themselves as they see fit on their own websites. Let them do that. You say, do you. Why don't you hold that same standard to other people? Let them do them. Do them. Let them do what they want on their own websites. Let them post their own photos that they want to post. How about you stop focusing on what other people do and focus on yourself and do you?
And see, this is again clear evidence that you don't know what you're talking about. MrRepzion, if Nicole is a model and these women are taking the jobs away from her, she is trying to do her. That's why she made the fucking video, you dumbass. Now, MrRepzion, if you take umbrage with what Nicole was actually saying, fine. That's your business, okay? You can whine and complain about what people should and shouldn't do until the sun comes down. Which is actually very ironic. I remember a couple of months ago, I made a video response to you where you were doing the exact same thing, where you were telling this kid Kian what videos that he should and shouldn't upload. Again, evidence that you are a hypocrite. We won't talk about that right now. MrRepzion, Nicole is saying that these girls are taking her jobs away from her. That's why she made the video, because she is an Instagram model and she wants to get paid for doing her shit. Now, if you want to argue about that, that's your business. But at least argue what the woman is talking about.
Nicole Arbor, you are in no position to dictate what other people post, because overall this video just makes you out to be one big giant hypocrite. I honestly feel, and correct me if I'm wrong, the ladies who watch me on this video, is that there is a really big competition between women in our society nowadays.
You don't fucking say. Who would have thought?
I feel as if women are always constantly wanting to battle each other, fight each other, and it's always a she versus she type of mentality. And rather having women battle with competition with one another, how about you bring them both up to the same standard, rather than pushing one up and one down. She's getting paid. She's doing things for free. This woman down here is a waitress and a model. She's not a real model.
I'm gonna end the video here. Now, here's the thing, alright? I want you people to really understand this fundamental concept about young ladies. It's kind of like what I've been saying about slut-shaming all these years. Not years, year. Nicole is a woman. And Nicole was just being a woman. Women slut-shame each other because they compete a lot differently than men do. A lot of women focus on competing with the way they look instead of competing with what the things that they do. Alright? Now, of course, this is all generalities. It's not all women. I got that. But that's what a lot of young ladies do. Same thing with slut-shaming. You call a girl a slut because she's getting the attention from boys that you want. So you see that make yourself feel better. You spread that rumor so you can passively get more people to leave that jackass alone or that bitch alone, that slut alone, so she focuses more on you. Nicole is just being a woman. That's what women do. They tell other women and they lambast other women and they complain about other women because that's what it means to be a fucking young lady. This whole thing about females competing with each other ain't new shit. It's not something that just happened in our contemporary American society. This is some shit that's been happening probably since women were fucking created or evolved. Whatever the fuck you want to believe. I mean, to try to make this seem like this is new is ridiculous. Second thing, this is a really good example of what happens when you don't understand what you're arguing against, man. MrRepzion is not only a hypocrite, but he's also very philosophically illiterate. In fact, throughout half the video, he was just arguing with his imagination. He wasn't even actually arguing what Nicole was saying. Now, last thing I think is very important is I've noticed this about a lot of weenies. A lot of weenies seem to get really offended whenever you put a criteria or a standard on women. Now, whenever you try to say that women should do something, all of a sudden you're a terrible person, you're a bad guy. Which I find to be completely and utterly ridiculous. In fact, I think it's going to be something I might have to chat about in the next video response I make. So that being said, man, I certainly hope you guys enjoyed today's video. And if you did, man, go ahead and click that like button. Go ahead and click that subscribe button. Comment amongst below. And as always, have a great day. I will see you cool cats soon. Adios.